On this, we're joined by Jameel Ahmad. He's Chief Analyst at GTC. Now, Jameel, there's positive sentiment across the board. Let's unpack the impact of this trade truce.
It's exactly that. It's a trade truce. I would say it's also somewhat of a photo opportunity rather than a trade agreement. If we were having this interview just a week ago, there was actually hopes that that final meeting between the US president and the Chinese leadership would lead to a real agreement, where in reality we have a truce. I would say it's helped market sentiment because US and China relations should from this point improve, but we have a one-year deadline to put on that. I would say what also has helped sentiment is actually that the US Federal Reserve did cut interest rates last week. Earnings season in the United States continued to impress, and we had another positive October overall, but now we're on the first trading day of November, and one of those factors isn't going to continue necessarily into this month, which is that the Federal Reserve, the US Central Bank, actually suggested that an interest rate cut next month is not a done deal. We do not know when we're next going to get real economic data out of the United States, as that government shutdown is very closely hit in 1 month. And if you are monitoring the Chinese economic data away from the trade truce with the United States, we're actually seeing a slowing down the Chinese economy as well. So I do question whether investors might get more tempted to take profit on Wall Street and world positions this month, just like at the end of last week. And last week, we had profit taken on gold as well.
Right. Meanwhile, oil prices have risen for a fourth session. What's behind OPEC's decision to pause production hikes for the time being?
We need to take into account that if you look at what the OPEC and OPEC Plus have been doing over the past 9 months or so, specifically from the end of Q1 2025, they've added close to 3 million barrels of production per day into the oil atmosphere, which is somewhere around 3% of global supply. So perhaps they're just going to pause it over the next couple of months, see what happens in the global macro picture, see what happens with the extension of Russian sanctions, as well as what's going to happen with the world economic sentiment. And perhaps over the first quarter of 2026, we're going to see a change, because essentially what they signaled was that they would continue as they are. There will be somewhat of a pause early next year. But as you know, with OPEC and OPEC Plus, they can change their decisions by the day if they need to. So I wouldn't look into too much of a longer term picture from this.
Right, we'll have to leave it there for now. Jameel Ahmad in Dubai, thank you very much for your analysis.